Hey kids, Mr. Glenn here. Hope you're well. What we're going to do is look further into the lasso tool. Last time we had a frog and we had put it onto a red background. And we started to just understand that we can start to do things with our backgrounds by adding layers underneath things and moving them around. The lasso tool was also a good way to look at a picture and think, do I need to use the lasso tool or do I need to use the magic wand? Because we're going to come to magic wands later on. But in our instance, the magic wand wasn't really useful because what we had to do was create a good way to cut out an object and keep it within our backgrounds and keep it within our layers. So the color here was a nice way just to make our objects pop and just understand that we can move things around and just turn them into something else. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We can start to make compositions, which is what we're going to be doing later on, and what we've done before with our golden ratios. So in our golden ratio pages that we were in the last lesson, here, so just this way, you can see that I've got those rule of thirds and the golden ratio using our backgrounds. Now what I'd like to do is grab a background. I'm probably going to choose this one here. So I can click on that and go and grab it from my lesson 3. And what I would like to do is add another animal in there to create this golden ratio. So let's go and click on the frog here. So I've got the frog, and I think in this tab here I've got a background. Let's go into my lesson 3 and go and grab this one here because I like this one. So go and grab this one, this background with this frog. Okay, so what we're going to do is make this our background. So I'm going to go and right click on this, and so on your iPad what you can do is long press on your iPad and it'll say add to photos. So this will be on your iPad as well. It's exactly the same pretty much, except on a computer we need to go and save our image. On an iPad you will have to long press and save an image, or you can take a screenshot really. It's entirely up to you on an iPad. It's super simple on an iPad. So I've made a Photopea page. I'm going to call this BG BG path because I know it's got a path in it, like so. That's saved my BG path. And then what I'm going to do is go and get my frog, my tree frog, and I'm going to go and do the same again. I'm going to go and just zoom in so you can see what's happening. Do the same again. You can take a screenshot on an iPad. You can long press. Here on a computer, I need to right click and save the image as. And it's going to say, do you want to put it into the same folder? I've made a folder on my computer called Photopea and save this. On your Mac that you're on or your Chromebook, you will have pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to close those tabs now because I don't need them. So this is where I get all my assets from in lesson 3. You've also got lesson 2. So in the lesson 2 folders too, you've got the same thing. So you could use this tree frog, a toucan, the leopard or jaguar, and you can see I've got a background there as well. Okay, so I'm going to go into my Photopea tab, which is over here. And remembering that photopea.com is a website. I'm going to turn my color off because I can come back to that later. So when I turn that on and off, I am just clicking on the eye. So it's the same on your iPad, basically. If your layers are closed, okay, and they're disappeared, you've got these little tabs here. So you can go and turn these off because you can find your layers. Your layers are right here. So you can use it's the same on your iPad. So you can tap and open those up and you'll get your layers, which are here. So your layers and your channels and your paths are right here, okay? So I'm going to go and click on the eye, turn that off. And what I'm going to do is go and grab and open my layer into my background into a layer. So let's go and grab my background from wherever it is that I. So wherever it is that I saved it, I need to go and File, and now you've got two options here because you've got Open and Place. Open will go and open the file by itself, and I think that some people will do this, and you'll notice that everything disappears. Well, it looks like everything's disappeared. It's actually here, so it's made tabs inside your work. So inside your Photopea page, I've got Tree Frog, which is over here, and it's opened up a BG path and turned it into a Photoshop document. If you just exit that little tab there, it'll close it and your work comes back again, because what we need to do is open and place. So when you open and place, it'll place it into a layer for us. Okay, so should we have a look at this? Let's go to Open and Place. Just go and zoom back out of here a second. Go and get BG path, because that's where I've saved it. I've saved it in my Photopea folder. I've made a special folder for Photopea. Okay, Open and Place. And you'll notice on the right hand side that it has made my BG path just above my color. So it's underneath my frog, and it's put my background underneath my frog. And now you can see that this square from previous lessons is the rasterize. So we know that we want to go and get rid of this and rasterize our layer. We can do that in a moment, okay? Because we need to look around our picture and just notice that we've got these handles to go and just stretch our image just slightly so that it goes over the full image. So there, over the full canvas. And you can tap on that or tap off it, okay? And it is done. All right. To get rid of that square, we may not need to go and rasterize our layer, but you can long press with your iPad in there, or you can go to Layer over here and you can rasterize your layer. So you can go to Layer at the top and rasterize, or if you're on your Mac, you can right click and you can rasterize there. You can see I've already done it, so it's grayed it out. And the square, that little square, has now disappeared. Look, so the square has disappeared, so it's now editable. Okay. So far, so good. Our frog is a bit big though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Okay. So we're going to have to free transform our frog. So we need to go to our frog layer. Let's just zoom in. So I need to go to my frog layer, make sure that's highlighted so the computer knows that I want to go and edit the frog. And then I need to go and free transform my frog. Those of you who can remember where to free transform is in Edit, Free Transform, or if you're good with your shortcuts, Alt-Control-T. Okay, so I'm going to go and Alt-Control-T, and you'll see it puts all the fill handles around the frog, everything that's there around the frog, and now I can pick these handles up and I can start to move my frog around. Now, this is what I say to everybody. You've got to try and keep the aspect ratio, because that's no good. And neither is that. We don't want a flat frog, do we? We don't want a flat frog. So we want to go and keep our aspect ratio. There are ways that we can keep it. I wonder if you can experiment with that. And what I'm going to do is just move this around. There are ways to keep the aspect ratio. You can use different keys. But for us, I'd like us to just by eye think about where our frog looks good. Okay, it looks normal sized head, normal sized eyes, arms, legs, and all that. And then you can double tap on there, and my frog is now ready for my golden ratio. Okay, so I'm going to pause this to show you where you're going to go to next. Okay, so in this video it looks like we've just jumped straight to this, but I am able to pause my videos here and show you where we can start to go with this. So on my layers, you'll notice right now that I've got frog copy 2, and my frog. Okay, and that means I've got 3 frogs here. So I'm just going to go and undo this and just show you how this works, because I don't want too many of these frogs, and at the same time I need to arrange them like I did in previous lessons using the free transform, and I need to move these around without looking like there's a whole swarm of these same tree frogs. So 3 is probably a maximum here, because in the next video we're going to go and put some different animals in using our lasso tool. Okay, so you can see how this whole progression goes. What I want to do is just undo these, just make sure that I've undone. So I'm just doing Control Z at the moment. Okay. So here I've got my frog. And what I want to do is just edit. I'm in the frog layer, so I've highlighted the frog layer. I want to copy and go back into edit, and I can paste. Now it's put a frog copy on my layer here, but the frog is actually on top of this frog here. So when I pull this away, this frog is here. Okay, so I'm just going to move this frog copy, okay, around. So I'm moving my frog around here. I'm going to go and put it on the rope. Okay, and then I'm going to go and edit and paste again. So now my frog is now over here. So it's copying that frog here. It's got a frog copy. I'm going to go and put it on this kind of golden ratio, because my golden ratio will go around here. And I'm going to go and put this frog over here. Last job for us here, before we go into adding more animals into our composition, is the free transform. So I've got different frogs here and where they actually are. So this frog, I think, is this one here, but it's okay. I can just go to edit, free transform. There's my frog. And I think it's facing the wrong way, to be honest, but this is entirely up to you. You can do this however you like. I think it's a bit big as well. So I'm going to go and just shrink this frog down a little bit and give it a baby frog feel like that, and then double tap on it. And this frog here too is probably frog copy 2. I'm going to go and edit, free transform this one, and just make sure that it's small enough to fit in here. And if you look closely, I'm going to zoom in on here so you can see it closely. When I move my mouse around here and I move my finger around here, on an iPad, I can also just turn it around as well with my finger and then double tap it on there. So that it looks like it's actually crawling across the vines there. Okay, so I've got these 3 frogs ready for my composition. All right, that's enough for us to do here. In a second, what we're going to do is just understand that the lasso tool is useful for other things as well. So we're going to go and cut out some more animals in the next video. It's very quick. We're going to put a tapir in somewhere, and also I'm going to go and get another frog that we looked at the beginning of this video. Okay, so a couple of frogs, tapir, and then I think we're done pretty much for this session with the lasso tool. All right, as always, good luck.